First of all, if you want to make a painting, what do you want to paint? Those are the issues. And what's worth painting? Because if you're going to spend almost a year of your life, you better be into it. Part of the things that's fascinating to me about civilization is its denial of its own mortality. We create stories to cope with that, and I'm interested in stories that embrace the idea that we have mortality and ideas that try to pretend that we don't. The painting behind me came from an idea of wanting to paint the most polluted place in New York. It was inspired by this anecdote from last winter when a dolphin wandered into the Gowanus Canal and died from exposure to poison. So I started to create this idea and this story to myself about what was happening in this painting and all the things that had died in the canal over the last 400 years. I make images that I'm fascinated and obsessed with, and I hope that there's a sense of ambivalence when one looks at my work. The images that those drawings are based on are the larval stages of some animals that have lived in the Gowanus Canal. The idea for how to make them started when I was asked to design a sequence in the movie Life of Pi by Ang Lee. One of the things about the sequence that we decided was that it was going to take place in the abyss of the ocean, bioluminescent. I mean, that's really the language of these organisms is, when you're in larval stages, a lot of these things are active at night. I was so involved with the conception of it in terms of the way it was visualized that I feel a sense of intimacy with it as a project. My journey through that movie is very much like what happened with Pi. There were many ups and downs. I come from a tradition of activism and the idea that art can make a difference in terms of political change. We're here at Speroni Westwater Gallery on Bowery in New York City, and this is a little preview of the centerpiece for my show called Rubicon that's opening September 17th. This painting is called Bronx Zoo, and it's more or less an index of many of the guests that have been at the zoo over the last 112 years since the zoo opened. Most of these animals are under intense pressure in terms of habitat loss. There are a handful of creatures that have a very bright future: the jellyfish, the rats, and some other insects and birds. The thing that happens with me and my work as it leaves is that I tend to have a sense of detachment, and my feelings about it can go either way. This painting I particularly love. It looks better and better as time goes on. Painting is such a mysterious process. It's one of those things where you're constantly juggling what you want to make and what's making itself. As I get older, hopefully I become more complex and able to express myself, or, I have a sense of continuity that, I kind of know who I am at this point and I know what I'm interested in, which is a tremendous relief. Here's a funny picture that I think actually says a lot, and this is, me and my grandmother. And I'm holding a turtle and getting a pat on the head, so that sort of says it all.